All right, I've been on a warhead here about what numbers and getting the numbers right. I know a lot of you, it's okay, because you're a nerd, Neil. Okay, guilty as charged. But I was counting the number of times this time and this week that Hillary Clinton, for example, was citing why she lost the election 7 months ago. And I came up with at least 22 different excuses, 22 different items. We hope to go through those. But barring that, I want to get Judy Kurtz of the Hill here. And first, ask you, Judy, why now? Why is she doing this now? It's one thing to say, all right, well, I'm responsible for my own decisions, but they're not why I lost. She's saying all these other factors were. But what do you just make of the whole drama as we go through some examples?
Yeah, you can certainly sympathize with November 8th being the worst day of Hillary Clinton's life, but she keeps reliving it over and over and over again like it's Groundhog Day, Neil. And it's this blame game that we're hearing. You know, on one hand, you can understand where journalists are peppering her with questions about the same subject and she's getting slammed for being candid. On the other hand, it's starting to sound a lot like whining toward 2017.
Well, I'm beginning to wonder now when the person who lost the election is now questioning the and I think I'm accurate on it, the legitimacy of the guy who beat her. And that's a dangerous line to cross over there, because not only are you then leading the resistance movement, as you put it, but you are casting serious doubt in the constitutional process that you yourself acknowledged at the time you conceded defeat. That's a dangerous, slippery slope, isn't it?
Certainly. You know, when Al Gore lost, he gave a graceful concession speech. He grew a beard. He went out and talked about how to save the world from climate change. That's not the case. That's not what we're seeing here with Hillary Clinton. I think this is a subtle attempt by her to really dig at Trump's Achilles heel, which seems to be the notion that the Russians handed him the election. So she's going to keep picking that scab over and over again.
What she did seize on, besides some of these other aberrant developments, that it was misogynist, that the Democratic Party did little for her, that the DNC was broke, that it was incapable. I mean, there was a time when she was that DNC and she was that party, and they were all for her. They paved the way for that. But leaving that aside, she talks a lot about the fact that not only were the Russians were involved, but nothing could have materialized unless they had help on the American side, all but fingering the Trump folks as orchestrating that. What did you think of that?
Yeah, that's been called a conspiracy theory. Look, she's playing the blame game here. Is it Comey? Is it the Russians? Is it WikiLeaks? Is it misogyny, as you mentioned? Is it the press? I mean, she's pointing so many fingers at this point that she's going to run out of hands pretty soon.
What did you make of that attack on the DNC? Because the DNC, if you think about it, through W. Wasserman Schultz at the time, who was heading the Democratic National Committee, did go a long way to show preference to Hillary Clinton, to block a lot of these debates so that they were on a Saturday night when there was a guarantee fewer people would be watching them. The Sanders folks complained. There was other complaint that this was a stacked deck. That's hardly a DNC that's not doing your bidding.
That's right. And I think that that's a reason why we're seeing some sympathy, even from her supporters, a lot of Democrats eroding because she's just adding to this blame game, adding to the number of organizations, people, situations that she blames for this stunning election loss. And I think people are just getting sick of hearing the same line over and over. She does preface it by saying she takes full responsibility. She gives that line over and over again, and then she continues to blame everyone else but herself. But she doesn't. When she takes full responsibility for her actions, but does not extend that to her defeat, which maybe I'm just being a stickler about stuff. But Judy, very good seeing you. Thank you very, very much. Great to see you, Neil.
All right, this is homework number 2. You saw this front page, right? You saw this? I want you to see if there's any coverage tomorrow about these 20-some-odd reasons. I just could only mention about 7 in the course of this interview. That this might have been a little bit too much, that it's a little clawing, a little desperate, a little too blame anyone but me. This will be a big issue, I guarantee you, because now celebrities are weighing in. And any time I hear that Leonardo DiCaprio is upset, I'm already saying game over. And then when Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting upset and Cher is getting upset, game over.